today I have my June wrap-up to share with you all. I think I read 8 books, which is pretty good for me. I think 4 of them were audiobooks and then 4 of them I read physically. So let's go ahead and jump into those. The first book that I read this month was #MurderTrending. This is a book about a girl that she is falsely accused of killing her stepsister. It kind of looks like she's been framed, but no one can prove it. And she goes to what is considered Alcatraz 2.0, and they're like a whole group of serial killers kills people who have also killed people. It's a little confusing. I've read this book and it still confuses me, but she ends up defending herself and killing one of the serial killers, and that causes a whole bunch of problems. This book is really good. The internet chat kind of vibe kind of threw me off a little bit. I kind of wish you couldn't see the people that were watching Alcatraz 2.0. It kind of bothered me a little bit, but ultimately this book was amazing. I gave it a 4-star. Really dark and twisted in certain parts, but also really juvenile in others. It was a very unique book. I still have no clue what to call this. I think the closest I've gotten is campy horror. But what does that even mean? If you all liked 10 by Gretchen McNeil, you'll love this one, and I definitely loved both. The next 2 books I read were for Buzzword Readathon Round 4, where the buzzword was you. I read I See You by Claire McIntosh. I read this in audiobook form, but I have it physically. This is about a woman that she goes on the train every single day, same train, same car, pretty much same seat. And one day she finds herself staring back at her from her newspaper in a dating site ad. And it kind of turns into a really extreme stalker type situation. And I loved this book, 5 stars, definitely my favorite book that I read in June. This will keep me up for months to come, and I never want to take public transportation ever again. But I loved this book. Perfect amount of thriller suspense, but it did make me work for it because the first 150 pages of this book were really hard to listen to. But once the story started to pick up, it was absolutely fantastic. And the other book that I read for Buzzword Readathon Round 4 was I Know You Know by Jilly McMillan. This book was okay. I think I ended up giving it a 3.5. It was good. It's about this guy that his best friends were murdered when they were young, and he believes that they prosecuted and actually charged the wrong person with their murders. And you get to see kind of in a podcast setting him going back and interviewing all the people who were part of the case, and you get to hear from family members of the boys that died, friends, the police officers, and you also get to hear back and forth then and now, and it's really good. The audiobook I would probably say is a little bit easier to follow because I feel if I had read this physically I would have gotten lost a little bit. The story was just okay. It never really picked up and never really got crazy, but I did really enjoy it. The next 3 books that I read were Dragon Ball 1, 2, and 3. I have talked about these in a couple different videos, so I'm not going to go into detail, but these have been really fun to read, and I'm hoping to pick more of these up soon. I've had a blast reading through these. I try to pick at least one manga every year, and this is the one for this year. Then the last 2 books were also audiobooks. I read Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart, which is about a girl that she's basically got this superhero complex going on, but she's also hiding from a past that we don't know about, and the book is told in reverse, and it really confused me at first when the audiobook started and it said chapter 18. I was like, what? I was like, how did I already accidentally skip to the end? But that's the way the book is ordered. So you read one scenario, then you get to go back in time a little bit and listen to what happened to put her in that scenario, and then you keep going back further and further and further until you get to chapter 1, and then after chapter 1 you go all the way back to the end, and this story was very underwhelming for me. The story never really picked up at any point. It was very bland. The way it was told was confusing. The character I didn't really care about, and I didn't really care about any of the like side characters either. I don't know, it just wasn't the book for me. I finished the book kind of deflated almost because it did not at all end the way I wanted it to. So I gave it a 2-star. It was not that great. And then the last book was The Vanishing Star by Maureen Johnson. I DNF this at 70%. I don't know. I have talked about this book in a couple other videos. I'm not going to discuss like in detail what I thought here, but I didn't appreciate the kind of insertion of opinions that were in this book because I felt like they were used just to make characters more angsty or whatever, but they had zero point in the plot. Like there was no reason for them, and the plot was dry. It definitely suffered from that second book syndrome where it just kind of flatlined the whole time. I never really thought anything was super interesting. It never caught my attention. I really only read it because I wanted to try and redeem Truly Devious, and it did not do that. So yeah, I know I kind of ended on a little bit of a bummer, but those were the books that I read in June. I did have a good reading month regardless of the last 2 books. I found a new favorite in I See You. Well, I hope that July treats me just as well as June did. I'm hoping to read about 6 books, including audiobooks and a few more manga as well. Tell me what you all read down in the comments below. I would love to know. Tell me how many books you read in June. I didn't realize I read so many, but I'm counting it as a win. So anyway, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye!